Welcome. I'm Dr. Court Hooper, PhD, Chief Systems Integrator, and I head the Hooper Group of Energy Technologies that are proposed to be foundational energy production systems for the CityWorks platform to run the HYDC smart cities. This is the story of what they are, the cutting-edge science behind them, and how they will actuate the output required for all energy needs for this transformative plan for the smart cities of the future. All have been tested and shovel-ready. Here is the vision. Prologue. 3 technologies, 1 integrator, 1 vision. Every great engineering vision has a through line, a unifying intelligence that recognizes, across decades of work in different fields and different contexts, that the pieces belong together, that the solar thermal collector in the Mojave Desert, the plasma arc gasification chamber converting municipal solid waste to clean fuel, and the particle beam accelerator unlocking hydrocarbons that the world has never been able to reach economically, that these 3 technologies are not separate ventures, but facets of a single, integrated answer to the defining challenge of our century. That through line is myself, C. Cortland Hooper, Ph.D., UCLA's top systems engineering graduate, decorated naval officer, behavioral finance, Ph.D., real estate and technology developer, capital strategist, and one who has spent more than 6 decades building systems that work when the conventional ones fail. My role as a co-principal and systems integrator across all 3 Hooper Group Energy Technology ventures: BETHEL Energy's Solar Thermal SEGS program, the Plasma Arc Municipal Solid Waste Conversion System, and co-owner of Denergy Tech's Directed Energy Molecular Transformation platform, is not coincidental. It is the expression of a lifetime of systems thinking applied to the most consequential engineering problem on Earth: how to generate clean, abundant, continuously available energy from resources that are already present, already available, and already wasted. This narrative tells the story of all 3 technologies, what they are, how they work, why each represents a genuine scientific and engineering breakthrough, and how together they form an advanced energy foundation that amplifies and completes the CityWorks' smart city vision. Not as additions to the platform, as the deep infrastructure layer that makes the entire vision self-sufficient, self-fueling, and genuinely energy sovereign at a scale that turbogen, iLamp, and drip drop alone for all their power cannot fully achieve. The city that generates its own power, converts its own waste into clean fuel, produces its own synthetic fuels from resources that were previously inaccessible, and does all of it cleanly, continuously, and with the kind of engineering rigor that comes from our partner, Len Daniels of BETHEL Energy, who built 9 of the 12 long-term, economically efficient utility-scale solar systems on Earth and spent 30 years applying weapons-grade physics to the chemistry of energy conversion. These are not 3 separate technologies. They are 3 lenses focused on the same point: the moment when a city stops consuming energy from the outside world and starts producing it from within itself. Part 1. BETHEL Solar Thermal, the proven foundation. The first technology in the Hooper Group Energy Triad is the one with the longest proven track record in the world, and it was built by a team of our partners whose credentials are extraordinary in the literal sense of the word. Extraordinary because they are unique, because no other organization on Earth has matched what BETHEL Energy and its principals accomplished in the Mojave Desert of California. What solar thermal SEGS is, and why it is different from everything else. Solar energy generation systems, SEGS, are not solar panels. The distinction is fundamental and widely misunderstood, because the word solar has become synonymous in the public mind with photovoltaic panels, the flat, dark rectangular sheets that convert sunlight directly into electricity through semiconductor chemistry. Photovoltaic systems have their place, but they have severe limitations that most people do not appreciate until they examine the engineering honestly. A photovoltaic panel generates electricity only while the sun is directly shining on it. Its output spikes and crashes with every passing cloud. It produces power for roughly 6 to 7 hours per day in optimal conditions and significantly less in cloudy climates. Its efficiency degrades over time, typically 5 to 10 years of useful life before significant performance loss, and it costs approximately $6 per watt installed, making utility-scale deployment extraordinarily expensive with no viable cost pathway to energy storage at grid scale. Solar thermal trough technology works on a completely different principle. Instead of converting sunlight directly to electricity, it concentrates sunlight onto a tube of oil using parabolic mirror arrays, troughs shaped like half-cylinders, 100 meters long, that track the sun across the sky on hydraulic drives. The concentrated solar energy heats the oil in the tube to temperatures approaching 750 degrees Fahrenheit. That superheated oil flows into a power pack where it generates steam. The steam drives conventional turbine generators to produce grid-quality electricity, and when the sun goes down, the oil retains its heat long enough to continue generating power through the evening demand peak, the most valuable period on any grid. The engineering advantages of solar thermal trough over photovoltaic systems are decisive on every dimension that matters for utility-scale power generation. Longer operational life, dramatically more stable output, better economics at scale, and crucially, the ability to integrate with heat storage and hybrid combustion systems that allow 24-hour power generation from what begins as a solar plant. The BETHEL achievement: 9 of 12 systems on Earth. BETHEL Energy, led by Principal Len Daniel, did not just design solar thermal systems. They built 9 of the 12 utility-scale solar thermal systems in existence on Earth, a market share of 75% that has never been matched or even approached by any competitor. The 9 BETHEL SEGS systems in the Mojave Desert, California, collectively produce nearly 75% of the world's utility-scale solar thermal electricity. They have operated for 25 years with a documented track record of reliability that the 3 European-built systems in the world cannot approach. BETHEL's principal met Hooper as a supplier of materials used in the BETHEL installations, and later they teamed up contractually to bring its technology, IP, to a wider use. That collaboration morphed into the other 2 technologies to increase the bandwidth of cutting and leading-edge power generation. All components are proven and ensured to work. Shovel-ready. The competitive superiority of BETHEL's design is not marketing language. It is measurable engineering advantage on every specification that determines real-world performance. 97% reflectivity. BETHEL's patented mirror technology achieves 97% reflectivity, unmatched in the industry. The mirrors maintain 100% reflection back onto the heat collection tubes year-round. No competitor has achieved this specification. Unbreakable mirror technology. BETHEL holds the only patent for composite structural foam-backed mirrors that do not break under operational loads, seismic activity, or wind events. Competitors lose significant power output from mirror breakage. BETHEL systems do not. This single advantage accounts for substantial efficiency differentials over the operating life of the plant. Heat collection tube efficiency. BETHEL's heat collection tube design achieves 96% greater efficiency over competitor designs, a specification that compounds dramatically over the 25-plus year operational life of a SEGS installation. Structural efficiency. BETHEL's structural design requires 37% less steel and 37% less labor to construct than competing designs, while meeting all Uniform Building Code 2007 requirements, Seismic Zone 4 certification, and 120 miles per hour wind certification. The construction timeline, 10 months per system, documented across all 9 BETHEL SEGS. Competitors require 2 or more years per system. The BETHEL 14 SEGS, the 14th system in the BETHEL lineage, once proposed for a 2,700-acre site west of the southern tip of the Salton Sea in Imperial Valley, California, represents the next evolution of this proven platform. a 25-megawatt hybrid system structured in two phases. Phase 1 deploying the solar trough daylight system at 80,000 megawatt-hours per year, and Phase 2 adding the plasma arc bio-waste night system at 180,000 megawatt-hours per year. Day and night, sun and waste. 24 hours of clean power generation from a single integrated facility. The Imperial Valley site was chosen with engineering precision, exceptional solar radiation conditions, flat agricultural land with no environmental constraints, direct interconnection through the Imperial Irrigation District into a major SDG and E substation, access to canal water and tertiary wastewater, and an agricultural base that integrates solar and biomass economics in the same geography. Construction has been permitted by the Mojave Desert Air Quality Management District, a regulatory milestone that most competing developers cannot claim. Solar thermal in the CITIWERXS context. The relevance of BETHEL's solar thermal technology to CityWorks smart cities is direct and substantial. A CityWorks township is a 24-hour energy consumer. Residences, businesses, water treatment systems, vertical farms, drip-drop atmospheric water generation, iLamp street intelligence networks, and the CityWorks' digital platform all require continuous electrical power. Solar photovoltaic systems, for all their ubiquity, cannot provide that continuous baseload. Their output is variable, weather-dependent, and temporally limited. A CityWorks township equipped with a BETHEL-designed solar thermal installation generates reliable, continuous, high-quality electricity from a technology with a 25-year proven track record, built to specifications that no competitor can match and designed from the outset to integrate with hybrid combustion, specifically with plasma arc biomass gasification for round-the-clock power generation. The solar thermal array captures the day, the plasma arc captures the night, and the city never goes dark. 9 of 12. 75% of the world's utility-scale solar thermal electricity. 25 years of documented operation. BETHEL is not one of the options for solar thermal power generation. It is the standard against which all others are measured. Part 2. Plasma arc gasification. The night system that converts waste to power. The second technology in the Hooper Group Energy Triad is plasma arc gasification, and understanding what it actually does requires setting aside almost everything that the word incineration implies, because plasma arc is not incineration. It is something fundamentally and scientifically different, and the difference matters enormously for both environmental performance and economic value. The science. What plasma arc actually does. Incineration burns waste. Combustion, whether in a furnace, a boiler, or a power plant, is an oxidation process. Organic material reacts with oxygen at high temperatures to produce carbon dioxide, water vapor, and a complex mixture of partially combusted byproducts including dioxins, furans, heavy metal vapors, and particulate matter. Even modern waste-to-energy incinerators with sophisticated scrubbing systems produce emissions that require extensive treatment and generate ash residues that must be landfilled. Plasma arc does none of this. Plasma arc uses an electrical arc, the same fundamental physics as a lightning bolt, but sustained, controlled, and directed, to generate temperatures exceeding 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. At these temperatures, which are more than twice as hot as the surface of the sun, matter does not burn, it does not oxidize, it dissociates. Dissociation means that the molecular bonds holding waste material together, the carbon-carbon bonds, the carbon-hydrogen bonds, the carbon-oxygen bonds in every organic molecule in every piece of garbage, are broken apart by thermal energy alone, without the presence of oxygen. The result is not combustion products, it is elemental components, primarily a synthesis gas, syngas, composed of hydrogen and carbon monoxide, along with pure elemental outputs including metals, glasses, and mineral slag that can be captured, separated, and resold. This is the fundamental scientific distinction. Incineration converts organic matter to carbon dioxide and pollution. Plasma arc converts organic matter to clean synthesis gas and recoverable elements. The first destroys value, the second creates it. The municipal solid waste opportunity. The Plasma Arc municipal solid waste system proposed through DEnergy Tech, whose main operating principles are myself, Cortland Hooper, Merrill Moses, and BETHEL Energy, is designed to process 1,000 tons of municipal solid waste per day, the volume generated by a substantial urban population, and convert it into 3 simultaneous outputs of commercial value: electricity at utility scale, ultra-low sulfur synthetic diesel fuel ready for the pump, and marketable byproducts including metals, glasses, and mineral aggregates recovered from the inorganic fraction of the waste stream. The system operates on just 10 acres of land, a footprint so compact that it can be sited within a township boundary or on adjacent land. It requires no open landfill, no ash pond, no waste storage that touches the ground at any point. The waste enters the system directly and is transformed immediately. The outputs, clean syngas, clean electricity, clean fuel, clean materials, leave continuously. Near zero emissions. Because the plasma arc process does not involve combustion, there are no NOx emissions from fuel oxidation, no dioxins or furans from organic combustion, and no heavy metal vapors from incomplete burning. The syngas produced is cleaned before any energy extraction, and the cleaning process itself yields additional recoverable byproducts. The environmental performance profile is categorically superior to any combustion-based waste processing technology. Ultra-low sulfur synthetic diesel. The Fischer-Tropsch synthesis process converts the clean syngas output of the plasma arc into ultra-low sulfur synthetic diesel fuel, a fuel ready for the pump without blending, without further refining, and with sulfur content far below regulatory thresholds. Unlike most biodiesel, which must be blended with petroleum diesel to meet engine specifications, plasma arc synthetic diesel is a complete specification-grade transportation fuel. It can power vehicles, generators, and any diesel application without modification. Renewable energy credits and tipping fees. The plasma arc system qualifies for renewable energy credits, cash payments for generating electricity from waste, for all 24 hours of daily operation. Simultaneously, it collects tipping fees from the municipalities and waste haulers who deliver the municipal solid waste feedstock. The system is therefore paid to receive its fuel, paid again for the electricity it generates, and paid again for the diesel fuel and recovered materials it produces. 3 revenue streams from a single waste input stream. The plasma arc technology in the Hooper Group portfolio has been proven at commercial scale. 7 commercial facilities using plasma arc gasification are operating internationally, and 14 government facilities operate in the United States. The system proposed by DEnergy Tech and BETHEL Energy draws on this proven operational base while applying the engineering expertise of a team that has built more utility-scale power generation systems than any other organization in the American solar industry. Plasma arc as the night system for CityWorks. In the CityWorks context, the Plasma Arc MSW system performs a function that no other technology in the platform can match. It converts the city's own waste output into clean power and fuel around the clock, with no dependence on solar conditions, wind availability, or any external energy input beyond the electrical arc itself. Every CityWorks township generates organic and inorganic waste continuously: residential waste, commercial waste, construction debris, agricultural residues from the vertical farms, organic waste from the drip-drop water treatment processes, and the biological outputs of the anaerobic digesters. In the current CityWorks model, organic waste goes to anaerobic digesters that produce biogas for the turbogen. Inorganic waste, plastics, metals, glass, construction materials, has no comparable use pathway. The plasma arc system changes this entirely. Every stream of waste the township produces, organic and inorganic, wet and dry, sorted and unsorted, becomes feedstock for the plasma arc gasifier. The system does not discriminate between waste types. Organic matter becomes syngas and electricity. Metals are recovered as pure elemental outputs. Glass and mineral materials become aggregate. Nothing is landfilled. Nothing is incinerated. Everything is transformed. At the township scale, and even more powerfully at the multi-township city scale, the plasma arc system becomes the waste processing infrastructure that closes the resource loop completely. The turbogen handles baseload power from biogas. The BETHEL solar thermal array handles daytime peak generation. And the plasma arc MSW system handles nighttime generation, inorganic waste streams, and fuel production, giving the township a synthetic diesel output that powers its vehicle fleet, its emergency backup generators, and potentially its neighbors. The city that processes its own waste is the city that never needs a landfill. The city that converts that waste to power and fuel is the city that never buys diesel. The plasma arc makes both statements simultaneously true. Part 3. Denergitech Directed Energy, the Molecular Transformation Platform. The third technology in the Hooper Group Energy Triad is the most unconventional, the most scientifically remarkable, and perhaps the most strategically consequential of the three. It draws on physics developed for Star Wars weapons programs and applies it to the most fundamental challenge in energy chemistry, changing what a molecule is, and therefore what it is worth, at a cost that transforms the economics of every major hydrocarbon resource on Earth. Denergitech, Directed Energy Technologies, LLC, was founded by Dr. Christopher J. Nicklaw, Lawrence W. Serenzi, and Merrill W. Moses, with Cortland Hooper as co-principal. The company's core proposition can be stated in a single sentence. By directing high-energy particle beams and microwaves at organic molecules flowing through a pipe, Denergitech can break large molecules apart into smaller, more valuable ones, or fuse small molecules together into larger, more valuable ones, at a cost per barrel that is 10 times lower than conventional refinery operations, with results that no conventional refinery process can achieve. The physics, particle accelerators, and molecular chemistry. To understand what Denergitech does, you need to understand two things: what a particle accelerator is, and what happens to an organic molecule when a beam of high-energy particles passes through it. A particle accelerator is any device that uses electric and magnetic fields to accelerate charged particles, electrons, protons, or ions, to very high velocities. The concept is not exotic. The cathode ray tube inside every old television set is a simple particle accelerator. Stanford University's linear accelerator is 2 miles long. The Large Hadron Collider at CERN is 17 miles in circumference. The 10 mega-electron-volt pulsed linear accelerators that Denergitech deploys are industrial-scale devices, large enough to be powerful, small enough to be installed at a production site, and operating on technology that has been in continuous industrial use for 30 years. When a beam of high-energy electrons or microwaves passes through an organic molecule, a hydrocarbon chain, a coal molecule, a tar sands bitumen molecule, a molecule of natural gas, the energy transfers to the molecular bonds. The bonds in organic molecules are essentially electromagnetic. They are the electrical attractions between atoms that hold the molecule together. A sufficiently energetic particle beam disrupts those bonds selectively, according to a Denergitech-developed recipe that determines which bonds break, which atoms recombine, and what molecule emerges on the other side. The analogy that Denergitech uses is apt. The particle beam accelerates the natural aging process when splitting large organic molecules into smaller chains. Oil is formed in nature by the slow thermal and pressure-driven breakdown of large organic molecules over millions of years. Denergitech accomplishes the same molecular transformation in seconds, at room temperature, in a pipe, for $5 to $15 per barrel, compared to $50 to $100 per barrel for equivalent refinery processing. 4 application domains, each a market in itself. DEnergyTech's molecular transformation platform has been developed and laboratory proven across 4 distinct application domains, each representing a different feedstock and a different end market, each with economics that are transformative compared to conventional processing. Natural gas to liquids. 6,000 standard cubic feet of natural gas, approximately $27 worth at prevailing prices, equals 1 barrel of oil equivalent in energy terms. DEnergyTech converts that natural gas to liquid transportation fuels, gasoline, jet fuel, diesel, at a processing cost of $5 to $15 per barrel. The resulting liquid fuel has a market value of $138 to $158 per barrel, generating an asset value increase of $105 to $125 per barrel on a feedstock that costs $27. The profit margin is 400% or better. The United States holds 7,000 trillion standard cubic feet of natural gas, more than 2 trillion barrels of oil equivalent. DEnergyTech can convert that resource to transportation fuels at costs that make it economically competitive with conventional crude oil at any oil price above $30 per barrel. Tar sands. Bitumen and heavy oil upgrading. Canada and the United States control 60 to 70% of the world's tar sands and oil shale resources, 4 to 6.7 trillion barrels of oil equivalent, dwarfing the conventional crude reserves of the Middle East. These resources are stranded not because the oil is not there, but because extracting it in a form that can be economically processed and transported has historically required expensive diluents, complex upgrading facilities, and platinum group catalysts that add $30 to $50 per barrel to processing costs. DEnergyTech's particle beam processing raises the API gravity of tar sands bitumen by 10 to 30 degrees, transforming it from a nearly solid material that cannot flow in a pipeline to a light, sweet crude oil that can be refined with conventional equipment. Processing cost, $3 to $9 per barrel. Asset value increase, $10 to $30 per barrel, plus elimination of the diluent costs and catalyst requirements that make conventional upgrading economically marginal. Coal to liquids. The United States holds the largest coal reserves in the world. DEnergyTech converts coal, in slurry or powder form, to crude oil at 3 to 5 barrels of oil per ton of coal, with a subsequent conversion step to gasoline and diesel. Total processing cost, $15 to $20 per barrel for the coal to oil step, plus $5 to $6 per barrel for the oil to fuel conversion. Asset value increase from coal to finished fuel, $50 to $70 per barrel or more, representing a 500 to 700% return on processing investment. This is not a new concept. Coal to liquids chemistry has been known since the Fischer-Tropsch process was developed in Germany in the 1920s. What is new is DEnergyTech's ability to perform this conversion at a fraction of the capital cost and operating cost of conventional Fischer-Tropsch facilities, without the complex catalyst systems and high-temperature, high-pressure reactor designs that have historically made coal to liquids economically marginal except at the largest scales. Biofuels, stabilization, and upgrading. Conventional biodiesel and biogasoline suffer from a fundamental chemical limitation. The organic molecules in biological feedstocks contain oxygen and organic acids that cause polymerization, the clogging of storage tanks, fuel lines, and engine injectors during storage and use. DEnergyTech's recipe-based particle beam processing removes the oxygen and acids, stabilizes the fuel molecules, and shifts the API gravity of waste biofeedstock from 24 to 41, producing a stable, engine-compatible biodiesel and biogasoline with no blending required. This process enables the commercial production of true, stable biofuels from restaurant waste, forest products, and agricultural residues, feedstocks that are abundant in any agricultural region and that currently have negative economic value as disposal problems. The CityWorks Synergy, closing the hydrocarbon loop. DEnergyTech's directed energy platform connects to the CityWorks ecosystem at multiple points, each of which amplifies the value of both systems simultaneously. The most direct connection is biofuels production from township waste streams. Every CityWorks township generates agricultural waste from its vertical farms, restaurant waste from its food service operations, and organic residues from its water treatment and anaerobic digestion systems. These materials are currently converted to biogas through anaerobic digestion, a valuable process, but one that captures only a fraction of the energy potential of the organic feedstock. Denergytech's molecular transformation platform can process these same biofeedstocks directly into stable transportation fuels, diesel and gasoline, at operating costs that are dramatically lower than any alternative biofuel production pathway. The synthetic diesel produced from the township's own biofeedstocks powers the township's vehicle fleet, its construction equipment during expansion phases, and its emergency backup generation systems. It replaces purchased petroleum diesel entirely, eliminating a significant recurring operating cost and a supply chain dependency that would otherwise expose the township to global oil price volatility. At the larger scale, a multi-township CityWorks city, or a CityWorks development adjacent to an agricultural region, Denergytech's natural gas to liquids and coal to liquids capabilities become a revenue-generating fuel production business that is entirely independent of the real estate and digital platform revenue streams. A fuel production facility co-located with a CityWorks development, converting regionally available natural gas, agricultural residues, or coal to transportation fuels, generates an income stream measured in tens of millions of dollars annually at 400 to 700% margins, and does so from resources that are already present in the region, already undervalued and already seeking an economic conversion pathway. Denergytech does not discover new energy resources. It transforms the energy resources that already exist, the coal that cannot be transported, the natural gas that cannot be economically converted, the bio-waste that cannot be stabilized, into the liquid fuels that the world runs on. One molecule at a time, at costs that change the entire economics of energy production. Part 4. Why all three are essential. The integration logic. The three Hooper Group energy technologies are not interchangeable options for the CityWorks energy architecture. They are complementary systems, each addressing energy needs that the others cannot, and each creating outputs that feed directly into the others. Together, they form a complete, closed-loop energy production system that transforms a CityWorks township from a smart city that manages its energy consumption intelligently into a smart city that generates its own energy abundance from its own resources. The time coverage problem. Why no single source is sufficient. Every city faces a fundamental energy challenge that engineers call the time coverage problem. Demand for electricity is continuous, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, but every energy source has periods of unavailability. Solar energy is unavailable at night and during overcast conditions. Wind energy is unavailable during calm periods. Biogas production from anaerobic digestion is continuous, but volume limited by the organic waste stream available. Battery storage can buffer short gaps, but cannot economically bridge multi-day generation deficits. The three Hooper Group technologies, combined with the TurboGen microgrid, solve the time coverage problem completely. BETHEL Solar Thermal provides high-efficiency daytime generation with thermal inertia that extends output through the early evening peak. The Plasma Arc MSW system provides continuous nighttime generation independent of solar conditions, powered by the township's waste stream that accumulates continuously regardless of weather. Denergytech's synthetic fuel production provides the stored energy medium, liquid fuel, that can be combusted in the TurboGen at any time, on demand, regardless of ambient conditions. And the TurboGen itself provides flexible, dispatchable baseload power that can be ramped up or down to match demand fluctuations that no intermittent source can anticipate. The result is a four-layer energy system: solar thermal, plasma arc, synthetic fuel production, and TurboGen microgrid that provides uninterrupted, reliable, abundant electricity from resources that are entirely local, entirely renewable or circular, and entirely independent of any external supply chain. The fuel production loop. Denergy Tech feeds everything. Denergy Tech's role in the integrated energy architecture is particularly strategic because synthetic fuel is the universal energy carrier that connects every other component of the system. Turbogen runs on any gaseous or liquid fuel, including the synthetic diesel and synthetic gas that Denergy Tech produces from bio-waste, natural gas, and coal. The Plasma Arc MSW system produces syngas that can be processed through Fischer-Tropsch synthesis into synthetic diesel. The BETHEL solar thermal system can use synthetic fuel oil as a thermal storage medium and as a backup heat source for steam generation on cloudy days. Every waste stream in the City Works township is a potential feedstock for the Denergy Tech molecular transformation process. Restaurant grease becomes stable biodiesel. Agricultural residues from the vertical farms become biogasoline. Organic residues from the drip-drop water treatment system become biofuels. And if the City Works township is located near natural gas infrastructure, as virtually every Indian city is, the Denergy Tech gas-to-liquids process converts cheap natural gas into premium transportation fuels at margins that fund the entire township's operating costs. The iLamp intelligence layer, optimizing the energy triad in real time. The iLamp network does for the Hooper Group Energy Technologies exactly what it does for Turbogen and DripDrop. It provides the real-time intelligence that allows each system to operate at maximum efficiency under continuously varying conditions. Solar irradiance data from the iLamp weather station network allows the BETHEL solar thermal control system to continuously optimize mirror tracking angles, heat transfer fluid flow rates, and power pack operating parameters for actual real-time solar conditions rather than modeled averages. Temperature, wind, and atmospheric clarity data allows the system to anticipate performance changes and pre-position its thermal storage accordingly. Waste generation data from iLamp-connected sensors at the township's waste collection points allows the Plasma Arc MSW system to manage its feedstock inventory and processing schedule in real time, ramping up when waste accumulation is high, modulating when feedstock is temporarily limited, and coordinating with the Turbogen and battery storage system to maintain continuous power output through any operational variation. And the City Works digital platform, orchestrating all of it through its 7-layer IoT architecture, provides the master optimization intelligence that routes energy between all 5 power generation sources: solar thermal, Plasma Arc, Denergy Tech synthetic fuel, Turbogen, and iLamp solar, manages the battery storage network, dispatches the drip-drop water production system to periods of maximum energy availability, and delivers the resident-facing dashboards that give every City Works resident real-time visibility into the energy system that powers their home. Solar thermal captures the sun, Plasma Arc captures the waste, Denergy Tech captures the molecules, Turbogen captures the biogas, iLamp captures the intelligence. The City Works platform captures the value of all 5, simultaneously, continuously, in a city that generates more energy than it consumes and sells the surplus to the world around it. Part 5. The Revenue Architecture. Energy as a HYDC business. The Hooper Group Energy Technologies are not just infrastructure. They are revenue-generating businesses, each capable of producing substantial independent income streams that are entirely separate from and additive to the residential real estate, digital platform, and water revenue streams that form the core HYDC financial model. Solar thermal utility revenue. A BETHEL SEGS installation of the scale, proposed for BETHEL 14, 25 megawatts of combined solar thermal and Plasma Arc hybrid capacity, generates electricity that can be sold to the regional grid at utility rates or consumed internally by the City Works township, displacing purchased power costs that would otherwise represent a significant operating expense. At utility rates prevailing in India's power-scarce major cities, a 25-megawatt installation generating 260,000 megawatt-hours annually produces a revenue stream measured in millions of dollars per year, from infrastructure that BETHEL has demonstrated can be built in 10 months and operated reliably for 25 or more years. For the City Works as franchise model, deploying across 8 Indian cities and eventually globally, each franchise deployment that includes a BETHEL solar thermal installation adds a utility-scale power generation asset to the HYDC portfolio. Not just a smart city, a power company embedded inside a smart city, generating revenue from the regional grid while simultaneously providing the township's internal power needs at zero marginal cost. Plasma Arc tipping fee and fuel revenue. The Plasma Arc MSW system generates revenue from 3 simultaneous sources: tipping fees from municipalities and waste haulers who pay to dispose of their municipal solid waste, renewable energy credits for the electricity generated from waste, and sales of the ultra-low sulfur synthetic diesel fuel, recovered metals, and mineral aggregates produced from the waste stream. In India's urban context, where municipal solid waste management is a chronic infrastructure failure, cities like Bengaluru generate thousands of tons of waste daily that are inadequately processed, causing public health crises, groundwater contamination, and massive methane emissions from landfills. A Plasma Arc MSW facility within a CITIWERXS township becomes not just a waste management solution for the township, but a regional waste processing service that cities and districts will pay to access. The tipping fee revenue alone, at prevailing Indian municipal waste disposal rates multiplied by the 1,000-ton-per-day processing capacity, represents a substantial annual income stream. Energy Tech, synthetic fuel production revenue. Denergy Tech's molecular transformation platform, applied at commercial scale to natural gas, bio-waste, or coal feedstocks available in or near the City Works deployment region, produces synthetic fuels at a processing cost of $5 to $20 per barrel and sells them at market rates of $100 to $150 per barrel or more. The 400 to 700% margin on this process, applied to the volume of feedstock available in India's energy-rich resource regions, generates revenue potential measured in hundreds of millions of dollars annually at full commercial scale. Denergy Tech's own projections based on stage development from 13,000 gallons per day in Stage 1 to 2 million gallons per day in Stage 3 envision revenues approaching $55 billion per year at 1 million barrels of oil equivalent per day production capacity, a target achievable within 6 years of commercial deployment at scale. Even at a fraction of this scale, co-located with a City Works development, the Denergy Tech fuel production business generates a revenue stream that is transformative relative to the township's operating cost base. The compound revenue model. The full HYDC CITIWERXS revenue model, with all 3 Hooper Group Energy technologies fully integrated, combines 7 distinct revenue streams that are each independent, each infrastructure-backed, and each generating value continuously from resources that are either locally produced or locally available: residential real estate development and home sales. City Works' digital platform recurring service fees. Drip-drop atmospheric water sales to residents and regional markets. iLamp GPU compute revenue from AI factories. Solar thermal electricity generation revenue, Plasma Arc tipping fees, renewable energy credits, and synthetic fuel sales. And Denergy Tech molecular fuel production margins on natural gas, bio-waste, and coal conversion. No single revenue stream depends on any of the others. Each is backed by physical infrastructure. Each is demand inelastic in its core market. And each benefits from the same macroeconomic trends: India's urbanization wave, the global water crisis, the accelerating demand for AI compute, the energy transition away from centralized fossil fuel dependence, and the growing global premium placed on self-sufficient, resilient, sustainable urban living. 7 revenue streams, 5 energy technologies, 1 city platform, One investment thesis. The CityWorks township does not consume resources from the outside world. It produces them for itself and for the world around it, and earns a return on every unit of energy, intelligence, water, and fuel it generates. Epilogue. The architect and the vision. I did not stumble into energy technology. I was trained at UCLA to think in systems, to see not just the component but the architecture, not just the technology but the platform, not just the output but the closed loop that makes the output sustainable. My role as co-principal across all three Hooper Group Energy Ventures and the Turbogen is not a coincidence of biography. It is the expression of a systems architect who recognized, across decades of work in aerospace, naval service, finance, trading, and real estate, that the energy problem is not a collection of separate technical challenges. It is one challenge with multiple dimensions, and the answer is not to pick the best single technology but to build the integrated system in which each technology's output becomes another technology's input, and the whole achieves what no part could accomplish alone. BETHEL's solar thermal system generates electricity during the day and thermal energy around the clock, and produces the steam infrastructure that DEnergyTech's synthetic fuel production can use as process heat. The Plasma Arc MSW system converts the township's waste to syngas and electricity at night, and the syngas feeds directly into the Fischer-Tropsch process that DEnergyTech uses to produce synthetic diesel. DEnergyTech's biofuel production stabilizes and upgrades the agricultural residues from CityWorks vertical farms, and the resulting stable biodiesel fuels the Turbogen microgrid when biogas from the anaerobic digesters is insufficient. The Turbogen provides flexible dispatchable power that balances the variable outputs of solar and plasma arc, and its cogeneration thermal output powers the drip-drop atmospheric water generation system. The drip-drop water system feeds the vertical farms and the anaerobic digesters, and the farms and digesters produce the bio-waste that feeds back into DEnergyTech and the plasma arc. Every arrow in this system points in a circle. Every output is another system's input. Every waste stream is another production feedstock, and the intelligence layer, the iLamp network, the CityWorks digital platform, and the AI orchestration that connects them ensures that every flow, every conversion, and every optimization decision is made in real time, continuously, as the city learns and improves itself across years and decades of operation. This is what Cortland Hooper has been building toward for the last 3 decades, and the HYDC Smart Cities Initiative is the ultimate canvas and benefactor. It is not a real estate project, not a technology company, not an energy venture, a city. A living, breathing, self-sufficient urban organism that generates its own power, converts its own waste, produces its own water, grows its own food, manages its own intelligence, and earns revenue from every dimension of its own existence. The Hooper Group Energy Triad is the deep foundation of that organism, the bones beneath the flesh, the physics and chemistry that make the biology possible, and it has been built, proven, permitted, and deployed by the same team, guided by the same integrator and architect across 3 decades of work that was always leading to this. The city is ready, the technology is proven, the vision is complete. Implementation of first infrastructure starts here.